Hi folks, Dr. Brad Semp here, the host of the Effortless Productivity Show on Busyness.com. This is the show dedicated to helping you to get out of busyness and get down to business. Today's episode is brought to us by Maximize Living. Maximize Living is a healthcare delivery system dedicated to helping you to change the way that you view and manage health. You can visit them now at MaximizeLiving.com. In today's episode, I'd like to share with you an addictive little thing called Angry Birds. Share with you a personal story about car shopping that was not so pleasant. Unveil a sneaky little tool called Productivity Cashmap, and then tell you about ghost actions. Oh, sorry, got carried away here. The Angry Birds, you ever see that? Is getting ready for this segment. This next segment, Netflix is our next segment, but Angry Birds got in my way. Netflix is a segment in which we take a look at the electronic and technological addictions, and I got to tell you, if you haven't seen Angry Birds is addicting as It is so addicting. This was something that my kids turned me on to from school, and then all of a sudden, once I noticed it, I started looking around, and kids at church, kids on the bus, kids waiting for the bus, everybody. Today at Little League tryouts, kids started talking about, said, "Oh, I love that game," and all the way down the line, "I love that game, I love that game." If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. This is one of those addicting games that if you're not careful, literally hours can get sucked up in this. So, anyways, in playing this, there's a productivity lesson that I'd like to bring up, and that is, take a look at the way that your little birds. Here's the premise of the game. You're shooting birds in a slingshot to kill these angry pigs. Okay, these pigs, and the birds are angry and they want to get back at these pigs. So what you do is you pull them back in the slingshot, and you have to get those birds on the right trajectory. Now here's where the lesson comes in. Your productivity comes down to basically three things. Comes down to trajectory, comes down to efficiency, and enjoyment. So, are you on the right trajectory, right? How efficient are you moving your way through that trajectory, that path, and the actions that you take? And then how much fun are you having doing it? Because you can be on the right trajectory, you can be very efficient, and if you're not having fun, it feels like work. It does not feel effortless. And so if you play Angry Birds, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because there's so much strategy here, making sure that you're on the right trajectory. I mean, you can pull that back and you can shoot those birds really, really high in the air and come down. You can shoot them on a line. You can bounce them off of things. It's addicting. Check it out and comment below. I'd love to hear if you play Angry Birds and what you thought about the little productivity lesson that we can draw from it. Now time for our Buck the System segment. This is a segment in which we look at real-life examples of people or organizations that buck the system to produce extraordinary results, or buck the system to produce subpar results. And today is a personal example of car shopping. My wife and I own 2 cars. We have for 10 years. We haven't had a payment for 10 years. They're both 2001s. We're planning to run them into the ground. And her van is just about run into the ground. So it's time for a new car. So we're shopping around, new cars, used cars, the like. We ended up walking into a local Chrysler dealership. Now, my wife's parents both retired from Chrysler. We can get the employee discounts there. That's probably where we'd like to buy a car. However, the experience there has got me in a position now where I'm not going to go back. I'm a car guy. Spent 10 years in the automotive industry. Dealt with cars, bought lots of cars in my life. The dealerships down here in Florida are different from the Midwest. Not necessarily in a bad way, they're just different. It's slower, it's culture, and that's fine. But not 2.5 hours later fine when I walked out frustrated, without a car, and without even having pricing. All I wanted was to know what was the bottom line price of the cars if I wanted to pay cash. What if I wanted to finance it, take advantage of 0% financing, what would the monthly payment be? Or if I wanted to lease and keep the cash in my pocket. I wanted those 3 options essentially. And I walked out with ditto, 0, nothing. I walked out with no pricing at all and super frustrated. But here's the deal. There's an opportunity here for the car manufacturers to buck the system and produce some extraordinary results. And they're missing the boat. As far back as I can remember, and talking with my parents as far back as they can remember, the car buying process has not changed a stitch. Why is that, folks? I mean, come on. Why do we have to go into the car dealership, wait for a car salesman to find you, walk around the lot, find a car, come back in, dicker, come to some type of price, only to have the sales manager disapprove the price, or not approve the price? Why does it have to be this rigmarole? It's ridiculous. In the days of computers here in 2011 in this century, come on, GM, Ford, Chrysler, Honda, Toyota, Hyundai, all of you, get with it. The first one of you who can give me an ordering system online that I can get actual prices, your best price online, is going to win. And if you need help doing that, come see me, because I would love to be the one to help you streamline and put your ordering system in place. How about you folks? Have you had any similar experiences in trying to buy a car? I'd love to hear about it. Scroll down right now and let me know. Let me know exactly what your experiences are in trying to buy that car or truck of your dreams. I'd like to remind you that today's episode is brought to us by Maximize Living. Maximize Living is a healthcare delivery system focused on changing the way that you view and manage health. Visit them today at maximizeliving.com. It's now time for our segment that we call the fastest minute in business. This is where we give you business advice in 1 minute or less. In step 1.2 of our productivity strategy cash map, we look at defining a productivity strategy. It's absolutely imperative that you don't go about your day taking actions without an underlying strategy that guides your productivity. If you don't have a strategy, there's no way that you can maintain a high level of productivity over time. You'll never maintain that performance. So you must identify your intentions, figure out the actions that are going to bring you in a straight line to those intentions. Things that you're going to want to think about are looking at your work schedule, understanding what's important, what's not important, setting measurable targets for your productivity, and then measuring those, analyzing those, and adjusting your actions according to those targets so that you get better and better over time and can maintain that productive mindset and productive output day after day. I hope you enjoyed that 1 minute business advice. I'd like to invite you right now to download your free Productivity Strategy Cash Map by visiting productivitycashmap.com. It's time now for our Design for Action segment. This is a segment in which we help you to design your actions to produce your intended results. I'd like to talk today about something that I call ghost actions. Now, what is a ghost action? A ghost action is an action that you take in private, that you hide either from others or from yourself. You don't want to admit it that you're actually taking that. And so it's an action that just doesn't happen, even though it does happen. When I was growing up, I remember all the time something would happen in the house. My parents would come home and say, "Who threw that comb through the door?" And wasn't me. My brothers, wasn't me. Wasn't me. And my parents said, "Oh, must have been a ghost." And now, 5 children later, for Lee and I, our family, we say the same thing. "Guys, who spilled the crumbs out, the cookies out here?" "Wasn't me, Dad. Wasn't me." "Huh, must be the ghost that did it." It's the same thing, in our lives, in our businesses. If you have ghost actions present, you're submarining your productivity. I can guarantee it. Let me give you 2 examples. One, let's say you're trying to eat healthy. Maybe here it is after the new year. Maybe you have a resolution to change your eating habits and get in shape. And it's those chocolate chips that are in the cupboard that, no, you're doing well. It's just 1. It's just 2. And when nobody's looking, you're over there pulling out chocolate chips and popping them in your mouth. That's one example. The other one is, you're working. Let's say you're working from home. You're an entrepreneur, or you're working at the office. And, you just need to check eBay. You just have that stuff on eBay. And it's only a couple minutes. And when nobody's looking, you're, looking up your offering on eBay or see what's going on over there. Again, it's a ghost action. It's those actions that you take that you do not want to admit to others or yourself. So watch out for ghost actions. I'd love to hear what you think about ghost actions. And if you really think about it, I'm sure that you have some in your life or business that are hurting your productivity. So if so, and you're willing to talk about it, scroll down right now and let me know, what ghost actions are you struggling with? That concludes our episode of the Effortless Productivity Show for today. I'd like to thank you for watching and look forward to having you back next week when I have a very, very blockbuster announcement that is going to blow my shirt off, and I think it'll blow your shirt off as well. I'd also like to remind you to register for our weekly show notifications so that we can tell you when each episode goes live. You can do so by visiting busyness.com and registering with your name and email address to our Effortless Productivity Insights newsletter, or go to iTunes and search Effortless Productivity. I'm Dr. Brad Semp, and I'd like to thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.